How we doing, first of all? You guys doing all right? Still alive? Falling asleep? Anybody? Are you guys feeling all right? See, I used to, when we started doing this, I used to come in the morning with Lloyd at like 4 a.m. and then now I'm like, nah, man, let me know when all the hard work is done and I'll come talk to the guys because I can't keep up with you guys anymore. I feel like every year, whenever I come speak to you guys, I never have anything planned. It's more kind of let it roll off my tongue. But once I hear these guys talk, I get so pumped and I think of a million different things that I want to share with you guys. But I don't want to take too much of your time. I'm sure you guys are pretty tired. I want to be pretty brief. Just a couple points to hammer home from me. And hopefully you guys can take even 1% with you, and that'll be a positive thing in my end. First and foremost, the one thing I miss about this whole thing, the one thing I miss about what you guys have going on here is this will be the last time you get to play with your friends competitive. And what I mean by that is, for the seniors anyway, for the guys that come back, you'll have it another few years. But when you're done with high school, it's a whole different ballgame. And I can't stress enough how much I miss and how cool it was to play with your friends that you grew up with, guys that you go to class with, and just guys from the same area. Once you go to college, some of you play, some of you won't. People from all over come, coaches are different, everything, classes are different, the demands are different, and everything changes. So number one is enjoy what you guys have here. I don't know you guys, I haven't met you guys. I know Evan, I know Lloyd, I know Yaz, I've known them for a long time. I know the culture at Ramapo High School. Really, really don't take this for granted, because it's a special thing that these guys have helped build here. I guess going from that, the one thing I wanted to kind of say to all you guys here is just use these years and these moments to just be the best version of yourself. And that's different for each person. Whether you're a star player or a guy who hasn't played a single minute, maybe barely made a team, youngest guy, oldest guy, whatever it is, role player, goalkeeper, backup goalkeeper, everyone has a role on this team. You're here for a reason. You were chosen to be on this team for a reason. But don't stop there. Don't think, all right, I'm here and now I'm just going to do my thing and, let it all play out on its own. Try to get better every day, but be a better version of yourself. And I would take some time to think about what you want the best version of yourself to be. And whatever that is, that's what you should work on every day. And when times get tough and you make mistakes and you have a bad reaction or whatever it is, just try to remind yourself, what do you want the best version of yourself? How do you want the best version of yourself to handle those situations? It's not easy to do. You guys are kids. You guys are teens. You guys are just learning who you are. But I think the earlier you can start thinking about it, of who you want to be, what you want to accomplish as an individual, as a team, it'll take you a long way. I know for myself, and I'll speak on my own experience, and I feel like we say this every time I'm here, but I had a chip on my shoulder in high school. Like I went to Bergen Catholic, as Lloyd said. We never won anything. We didn't have the best team. The guys at Ramapo were like Ramapo, Don Bosco. It was like ran soccer in this county. And for me, it was like, man, how can we be good enough, or how can I be good enough and my team be good enough to take these guys down? And year after year, we always came up short. And I started noticing it with each year. And Evan will tell you, I scored a ton of goals. I think I had like 20 my freshman year, 30 my sophomore year, like 45 my junior year. So I scored a ton of goals, right? And with that, like Lloyd said, I was youth national team, all state, all that stuff, but we still didn't win a thing. And every day I'd go back, I'd go to my high school in the morning, we'd look up at our banner, and you know how BC is, football, wrestling, baseball, all these championships. Soccer was like 1989 was like the last one. And I'm like, man, I can't go 4 years here and not have anything to show for it. And that became my obsession. So my senior year, literally, I mapped it out, like every opponent, every game, whatever I needed to do. But the difference was in my senior year, and again, I wish I did this earlier, but it just took me some time to learn. it wasn't about me anymore. I could care less if I didn't score a single goal. But for me, it was, what do I need to do for us to be successful, for us to win? That was the first year I was also a captain. And I took that role very seriously. But it was all about, you're only as good as your weakest link. So it takes sometimes putting your arm around the young guy's shoulder and picking them up in practice, making sure they're practicing with the right attitude. I heard Lloyd mention spreading like cancer, right? Negativity spreads like cancer. Something so minor can disrupt the team. All it takes is one guy screwing around, not taking it seriously, having a laugh, making a joke out of it. Spreads to the next guy, spreads to the next guy. Now guess what? I'm a starter, but you're not pushing me. Even if you don't play a single minute, if you're not taking practice seriously, that could screw up everything. Because now we're not pushing each other. I get complacent, I get comfortable. I think I'm better than I am. I might get pissed off that he's not taking serious, so why am I busting my ass? All that stuff just creeps in, and when adversity hits, like these guys were talking about, when you have to really dig deep, all those little shortcuts that you might take add up. And the last thing you want is when you have to dig deep, you don't have anything left in the tank. And instead, what you have in the tank is those reminders like, man, I didn't push myself in training, I didn't push the guy next to me, I cut corners, all that stuff catches up with you. But yeah, my senior year, I was obsessed. The one thing that I always stressed that was my strength in high school was mentality. And for me, like Lloyd said, I would take 100 shots if I had to in a game, because I was like, I have to score. Like that is what I need to do. If that's what's going to help my team win, that's the name of the game, right? Score more than your opponent. So the more I could score, that was my job, the better it was for my team. But my senior year, it was more than that. It wasn't just score and I could get the individual accolades and people will say, oh man, that guy's a really good player. To me, it was about winning a championship as a team. And I'm really, really proud we ended up winning counties and states that year. But what I'm more proud of wasn't like I scored 66 goals my senior year. But I honestly don't even care about that. I'm more proud of like taking goal kicks, coming back, switching the play, defensive mid the last 10 minutes of games and finishing games out. Those were like the fun memories to me. When I would score 5 goals, I'd get subbed out, I would play goalkeeper. I loved it, but for me it was fitting with the guys, showing the guys next to me, I'll do whatever it takes to help us. And when they would see that, they would do the same. I would inspire them, they would inspire me. There were games where I wasn't having a great game, but I would see a guy who maybe wasn't the best player on the team, go through a tackle, try to make a play, do something happen. Just like that, a switch goes off. It's like, all right, man, I got to get back into this. If my guy next to me, if my brother next to me is going to run through a wall, I got to run through 10 walls, right? And it becomes, just like the negativity spreads like cancer, positive energy is contagious as well. And it could be anything. It could be a guy on the bench getting in your ear, telling you to pick your head up. It could be the coaches. It could be whatever it is. But you got to stick together. Because when you're on the field, there's no timeouts. I'm sure Evan, a million times this season, would call a timeout if he could, to regroup and things that he sees on the sideline. But when you're out there on the field, it's your 11 that you're out there with, guys on your bench cheering you on, coaches trying to give you instruction. But there's no stoppage, right? 45-45. That's the beauty of soccer, in my opinion, is that there's never a game, and I'll ask you guys, have any of you guys ever had a game, a full game, where you didn't make a single mistake? I mean, if any of you raise your hands, I'd call you a liar, because it's impossible. It's impossible. And that's the beauty of soccer, is that no matter what you're good at, and there could be a bunch of you that have a lot of different strengths, there's so many facets to soccer that you could improve at so many different things. It never stops. I remember I read it, Pelé wrote an autobiography where he talks about that was the beauty of soccer, is that the second you think you're good at everything is when you're not going to get any better. Because the second you think you're good at everything, that means you're missing a whole different level of stuff that you can get better at. And I think the cool part is that at this age, you guys can help each other get better. Not everyone here is aspiring to be a pro player. Maybe some of you don't even want to be college players, but I can tell you from my experiences, this game and my experiences with my teammates have opened up a world of opportunities for me. Whether it was going to the University of Virginia, getting a great education, being able to earn a scholarship, saving my parents a few bucks, to then being my profession and making a living playing the game that I love. I'm truly blessed by what this sport gave me, but it was all the lessons that I learned when I was your age that helped me get to where I was at. If I didn't go through all those growing pains, if I didn't get my ass kicked by Ramapo and Don Bosco a bunch of times, there's no way I would have been a pro, because things would come easy. But you gotta feel that, you gotta get that pit in your stomach if things aren't going right. If you don't get that, there might be a little bit of a problem, because you might not be the most competitive guy in the world. But I think, especially what you guys have probably gone through today, you guys should know you don't go through hell for no reason, right? Every time you step on the field, support each other, push each other, be the best you can. I don't know if there's anything else you guys want me to talk about. Or
when you played in the MLS Cup final,
yeah.
What happened in that game?
Yeah. So like Lloyd said, so I'll give you kind of a little bit of background. So graduated Bergen Catholic, went to UVA. When I went to UVA, I kind of went through some adversity just in the very beginning. When I first got to school, didn't start my first 2 games, came off the bench, scored a couple goals, started every game after that, because I wanted it so bad. I wanted to leave a mark. Fast forward now, I left after my junior season, went pro in the MLS draft, got picked by DC United. And my rookie season, I didn't play that much. I played about 20 games, but it was always like 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. Only started, I think, like 4 or 5 games. Worked my ass off in practice every day, but I just kind of got overlooked. I was the young guy on the team. We had a bunch of veterans, and the coach didn't really believe in playing younger guys. So I went through a lot where media, TV, newspapers, magazines, everything was like, I was the number 1 pick in the draft. So they're like, the number 1 pick bust, he didn't pan out, blah, blah, blah. So, it really got to me where I was like, man, I know what I could do. I know the value that I could bring. I'm not getting the opportunity. It was extremely frustrating. So season ended, pretty disappointing. We lost in the playoffs to Chicago that year. After the season, coach got fired. Next year, got a new coach in, and really just gave me new life. He was like, look, I don't care what any of you have done before, what your resume is, I'm gonna pick the guys that are gonna help this team win. And for me, that was like a blessing, where I'm like, all right, I know what I could do. I know I could help my team every time I'm on the field. So busted my ass, got a starting spot. Our team came together. We were like a group of brothers, man. I never had to look over my shoulder to see what the guys behind me were gonna do, because we were always there to back each other up. Long story short, we make it to the MLS Cup final. We were on a roll. I think we won, I want to say like 10 of our last 11 games or something like that, heading into the MLS Cup final. And we were just running over teams. Our attack was sick. It was myself, Jaime Moreno, Christian Gomez. You guys probably know Freddie Adu a little bit. Freddie was a rookie on the team. But yeah, we had a bunch of talented attacking players, and nobody could really stick with us. Next thing we know, 10 minutes in, ball pops out, corner kick, and we're playing Sporting Kansas City. Guy hits a rocket 30 yards out, missile, boom, top corner. And all of a sudden we're down 1-0. And it was weird, because in that stretch of games that we won, we always scored first. And all of a sudden, we get down a goal, it's MLS Cup final, and I remember I'm looking around like, man, none of us drew this up. We never thought that this was going to happen. We were like a possession-oriented team. We always controlled the ball. It just really caught us off guard. And I was a young guy on the team. I think I was probably 21, 22. I was 21 years old at the time. So we had a bunch of veteran guys on our team, and I remember, and I know these guys have heard me say this story a bunch of times, but when you're out there on the field, how often are you just talking to yourself, right? Even though you're talking to your teammates, right? When you're running around, if I'm a forward and the ball is over there, it's just mental conversations, right? Oh, he's gonna get past